What's that?
We can start.
Robert?
Issues that come up. And resolve, that's it.
Yeah. I had a question. If I'm so short-handed, can I work my part-time or sometimes extra hours?
Yeah, really the rule is that they have to average for the year under 20, at 29. Anything over 29 is by insurance. If the law says 30 or more, we have to, that's it.
Somebody working today.
But if you make sure that they don't, like balance out through the year at over 29. Yeah, but that's the issue.
Okay. All right. And once the full time do it,
Girls, there any?
I'll- Hi there.
Happy anniversary.
How's everybody doing this morning? Good?
Yep.
I think we're ready to roll, right? If we could please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, we'll get it going a minute early. All righty. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Good morning, everyone. Hope everybody's doing all well. It's June 25th, 10 o'clock. And do we have any person that wants to appear before the court this time to speak on any matter? Commissioners, any announcements?
Good morning. Good morning, Judge. Good morning, Commissioners. Just want to report that we have 51 inmates, 5 females, and wanted to inform you again, I know you've seen it on the media, the county jail was inspected last week and they passed the state inspection. We were not notified that they were going to be here. It's a surprise visit, so congratulations to the directors that work in that facility. Also, we wanted to inform you that we have received some new tablets from Bill Ryan's system that we're going to be using for our inmates. They arrived yesterday. We'll have some training in the following 5-6 days. Also, mandatory training is taking place for our jailers that is mandated by the state as well as for our officers. Wanted to inform you also that there's been some concerns out there in the community, law enforcement, that we have no space at the county jail. I want to let you know that we don't have space. We have, the facility is occupied by 79 to 85% of mental health issues with the individuals who want to commit suicide, as well as females that have to be separated in different cells, and females that cannot get along with the population of other females. So a lot of our space is being utilized and cannot be mixed with other populations. So that's one of our problems. I want to inform the commissioners that we have over 1,000 warrants within the city and the county that cannot be served because we don't have the facility to put them in. I know that I had sent you all a letter sometime back requesting a facility evaluation and design, and that is in the works. We met with Mr. Woods, the jail commissioner, jail commission director, and of course, very pleased to help us out and go from there. It might be something that will be developed in the next 2 to 3 years, but it's something that is very important for Jim Wells County. I also want to inform you that we have been open since August of last year, and on July 6th, we will open our doors at the sheriff's office. You might have passed by here and seen some of the benches that we placed out there for citizens to sit there because our lobby is so small. But we will be in full operation starting July 6th of this coming month. I also want to inform you that we received a letter from NIBRS that we are up to date on all our records and information that needs to be sent to the state. I know there's some other items on there about resolutions. And if you can allow me to speak on those when those items do come up, I would appreciate it. Again, thank you, Judge and Mayor and Council, Commissioners, for allowing me to speak.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I
Sure.
noticed JC's not here. Is there a recording system going?
Yes, Robert, you got the recording system going, right? Yes. You sure?
It's all recording, sir.
Okay, wonderful.
But not on, I'm talking about the
Yeah,
audio.
it's still recording.
Okay, all right.
Okay. Anybody else that would like to speak before we proceed?
Judge, I have one.
Commissioners,
incident. We had a situation yesterday in Ben Bulk where there was a lady waiting for the ambulance to show up. And I know we just got a news company came in and the call was made at 5:14 in the afternoon and the ambulance didn't get there till about 30 minutes later. So just want to bring that up. And I know Mr. Guerrero had talked to me about where to do it. They're going to evaluate all the stuff. They're going to come in and speak and let us know what's going on. And I
Status
know
report.
Patrick has mentioned also, but they're gonna log all those calls coming in from that area because to see if it's something else is gonna get addressed in that,
Right.
that area. But it's kind of sad that it would take 30 minutes to get there. And so we need to.
Maybe they can send a respond, like they used to, respond time for every call that they make.
Right.
Maybe that's something that should be done maybe every month. That way we can
Look at it.
look at it.
I know we had discussed it was supposed to be
Yeah, the first 90-day period will be up at the end of July, so we should be expecting a report from, there was a committee that was
a, right,
formed, remember?
there was a committee, yes, that's
And
the
so
committee.
should meet and have a report ready for us for the first meeting of August.
Okay,
And so make sure, Commissioner, if you want to let the Chief Deputy or Patrick Thomas know so they can know about this particular incident.
I will.
they're part of that committee, so that way they can
Yes.
keep record of that, okay? Any other announcements, Commissioners? We're good right now? Okay, then we're gonna move on to agenda item number 4, considering approving minutes from previous meeting.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion, a second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And all those opposed? Motion passes. Agenda item number 5, consideration and approval of offer to purchase sell property suit number 1503-16628B, Jim Wells County, City of Alice, Alice Independent School District, and Alice Water Authority versus Juan Cortez, account number 1269003200000. Lot 1, Block 4, Timber Lane Addition. Let's see what we got here. We have an offer to purchase tax sale property, and the offer was made in the amount of $26,000 for the purchase of sale tax property.
What's the amount? please, Judge?
26,000
Okay.
is the amount.
I make a motion to approve.
Any questions, Commissioner? No?
I was just gonna say how much was owed on taxes. Is that how much was owed on taxes?
I wouldn't be exact, I wouldn't want to say, but that's pretty much, I think, what that was tendered. I'm sure it covers the
If the notice-
taxes.
If the notice says minimum opening bid,
Yeah.
then that's the number. So anything over and above that would be what we would be splitting with the other jurisdictions.
And the reason I say that, because I don't know if this was the only offer.
No, there was one for 14,000 back in 2020.
So then there was something, well, maybe
And they
since,
were turned down by the school district.
okay, well, it may have been a minimal, something, we probably got more than, we may have.
You
never know, so-
Sometimes we accept less just to get it back on the tax rolls.
Right, right. Okay, so we have a motion on the floor to accept this
A
offer.
second.
In a second, all those in favor say aye.
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 And all those opposed? Motion passes. Okay. Agenda item number 6. Consideration and approval of offer to purchase sell property suit number 1308-16209B, Ben Bolt, Palito Blanco, Jim Wells County, City of Alice, Alice Independent School District, Alice Water Authority, and Brush Country Groundwater Conservation District, and Jim Wells County Freshwater District Number 1 versus Israel Garcia and Esmeralda E. Garcia, account number 11860010000, lot 11, block 1, Cool Shack addition, an addition of the City of Alice, Jim Wells County.
Questions?
And
I'll make I'll make a motion to accept item as presented, Judge.
Okay,
The bid, 4,800.
any
How much is
discussion?
that?
4,800 is the purchase, the amount that was offered. 4,800.
Second the motion.
And the second, all those in favor say aye,
Aye.
and all those opposed? Motion passes.
Oh, you know what? It's right here,
Yeah.
Margie. Amount of all the entities, 1,031. Amount of bid, 4,800. Cost of sale, 1,573. Current value, 1,410. It's all in here.
Okay, so we got that one passed, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the amount of each entity will receive. City of Alice, 50765. Alice ISD, 1825.16. Jimos County, 894.19.
And that's a breakdown accordingly
Yeah, it's
to what
broken down into
is
who's receiving it.
proportionate to each, taxing entity. And it's broken down
Yes, sir.
accordingly. Okay. All righty. Then we have agenda item number 7, discuss and consider budget amendment request by Ventura Garcia Jr., Jim Wells County Commissioner Precinct 2 to transfer a total of 1,300 from following accounts, 500 from line item 12,673,453 equipment repairs and maintenance, 500 from line item 12,673,453 miscellaneous supplies, and $300 from line item 12,673,575 furniture and fixtures to line item 12,673,330 gas, oil, and lubricants.
Judge, Commissioners Court, I looked at the request and everything is okay with the request.
I'll make a motion to accept item number 7 is presented, Judge.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And all those opposed? Motion passes. Agenda item number 8, consider and approve budget amendment request by Commissioner Precinct 4, Huicho Gonzalez, transfer 10,000 from account 24624-46000 rentals of space to account 24624-48675 truck hauling.
I've looked over the request and it's a good request.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Righty, have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Agenda item number 9, consider and approve budget amendment request by Commissioner Precinct 4, Huicho Gonzalez, to transfer 8,000 from account 24624-4.15 contract labor repairs to account 24624-390 miscellaneous supplies.
Everything's okay with the request. Thank you.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
A motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Agenda item passes. Agenda item number 10, consider and take action to authorize County Judge Juan Rodriguez Jr. to execute an option contract for the purchase of 114.74 acres tract of real property subject to and contingent upon funding from a federal grant application to be submitted by Petra Reina and Associates.
Judge, Commissioners, this is the same out at the Primate Center, the same grant application we did this November. We didn't get funded then. The plan is to apply under the Rescue Act and try again. And yesterday, I got word from the real estate agent that Mr. May has signed the contract. So at this point, all we need is authority for the judge to sign it, and that gives us a window. It's not it's an option to purchase it. That's all we're doing at this point. And that option would only be exercised if we get funding through the grant.
Where's the location?
It's just to the east of the existing center, 114 acres.
Oh, okay.
So if you're looking south off of that, I forget what county road that is, but if you look south, the center is right there. This would be just to the east of it.
It's adjacent pretty much.
Yeah, it touches, yes.
And thank you, Michael, for all the hard work you've done coordinating this and with a realtor
I make a motion to
Yes,
approve.
I've been using
and
Denise
Mr. May.
Denise Strait is representing Mr. May.
Mr. May, good. All right. Well, we got all the details.
I make
It's
a
a great
motion to
thing.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And all those opposed? Motion passes. Agenda item number 11, consider to take action to adopt a resolution declaring a local disaster arising from border security issues which are resulting in increase in financial burden on local resources, requesting all available resources of state government.
Judge, we spoke last week about the governor's conference in Del Rio,
Right.
about 2 weeks ago?
Yes, sir.
And this was one of the things that came out. There will be some monies available for county
Yep.
for the
Declaration.
the extra expenses that we're seeing because of the human smuggling and human trafficking. And so step one is to adopt a resolution to qualify us for that kind of money.
Right.
And I know the sheriff wanted to add some things to this.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Sheriff,
believe, Judge and Commissioners, I believe that this resolution is recommended to go ahead and accept it and consider it and accept it. But the resources that the governor's talking about are Department of Public Safety, as well as other Department of Public Safety from other states that will assist in the border towns. I talked to some of the sheriffs yesterday, and of course, they know about it, but it's nothing to say that we are going to get resources to support our local law enforcement agencies. He might promise that he'll give us 2 or 3 officers, maybe for 1 year or 2 years. Then the county would have to pick up the salaries on those officers if that is the plan that he has in place. To me, it is a resolution that yes, they do need help, the border towns and border crossings. But at this time, I don't think there's anything coming to us. Maybe I read it wrong, but I know we have our county attorney that makes a recommendation to us, and we support what he says. But that is the wording that was given to us on our phone conversations with the surrounding sheriffs.
okay.
That it's
Sheriff,
going to be.
we're in the, and Sheriff, thank you for that comment and that report. And it's an ongoing discussion, and there's nothing set in stone and nothing yet completely. I've been in contact with the Texas Department of Emergency Management also, Mr. Gary Barney, and that's an assistant to Mr. Kidd, the director for the state. And we're looking at all the details and discussing this.
What is Gary recommending?
Well, you know,
My
it comes on,
understanding was we adopt this resolution to put us in a position
right,
to apply for funding.
right. And not only that, but we would also, and it doesn't necessarily mean or exactly that we have to accept or and there is some administrative work and we need to keep record and track of a lot of, and keep up with the statistics and numbers. And so it does require a little bit of documentation and administration of it. But it's an ongoing thing, and we still don't have anything concrete yet that they've told us yet exactly how it's gonna work and how this, but it is important to be recognized and that we may need those resources eventually down the line. This also includes protection for landowners, ranchers, farmers, and there's a lot of other,
That's the biggest complaint we get here.
yes,
the
and that's more important,
broken
ranchers.
fences and gates.
Fences,
With
the
you have these
gates,
bailouts and you have all this stuff, and then there's no one to come in and to
help.
Yeah, it's not as bad here as it is in Brooks and Jim Hogg.
Right.
And,
we still have,
but we still have, we're having
Incidents.
busted fences, and I know because it happened at my father's place in Lodoya. And it happens to our neighbors, and I know we've had some in Orange Grove as well.
so there are instances.
So I've also been communicating with the DA, and in fact, we got a memo yesterday that they're asking us to put on a training on some misdemeanor offenses that can be added in, because every offense that's listed on the report would be check another box.
Exactly.
For the funding, on the funding side.
Right, to document those
Yeah.
incidents.
So, in fact, yesterday we got a memo from the Border Prosecution Unit asking us to put together a workshop for law enforcement. And Carlos Garcia and Jason Childers in his office are going to be putting that together.
Sheriff, also, I'm not sure if you are aware, but there may be some also additional resources and funding for our jail and our, not only in general in law enforcement, but also the facility itself, the jail itself, because I'm sure from time to time that you bring in certain individuals that may not be part of the territory here or anything that doesn't necessarily apply to our local jurisdiction, but you do have to house some of these persons or people or groups that get
Great. To have a crime here.
right, that are secured here. Sheriff, have you had any experience with that?
Yes, sir. We have, at this time, we have 3 inmates that are being housed here at our county jail. Again, I also want to emphasize to you that we do have funding available through our Border Star and Stone Garden. So where we do have bailouts and we do have individuals that are caught doing this, we have officers that can be there 2 or 3 hours, and they are paid overtime through this funding, federal and state funding. So that is a plus to us. Again, the facility that we have in place right now is critical because we do still have many criminals that are committing the same crimes over and over, and we cannot house them.
Okay. Well, I recommend that we move forward on this resolution for now, and then we'll take it as we go. We can always consider and reconsider other things, but at this time, right now, we're at the. Commissioners, any questions?
Yeah, can you read the resolution, see what's in it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let me read the resolution. That way we, before we proceed. Yes, sir. You got the resolution? Oh, thank you, man. Appreciate it. By the time I find it in this paperwork here, I left my tablet at home. Okay, this is for the declaration of local disaster, border security, criminal offenses, and increased expenses. Whereas the health, life, and property of the residents of Jim Wells County is under an imminent threat of disaster from the human trafficking occurring on our border with Mexico. The ongoing border crisis has resulted in hundreds of undocumented non-citizens invading Jim Wells County and overwhelming our local, state, and federal law enforcement. There have been a high number of high-speed chases and bailouts at all times during the day and night that continue to be a threat to the residents of Jim Wells County. Area ranchers are being left with a high number of broken fences and other damages to their properties, and whereas the public health and safety of residents of Jim Wells County is under an imminent threat of disaster from an elevated risk of exposure to unknown variants of COVID-19 resulting from the human trafficking occurring on our border with Mexico. The limited resources of Jim Wells County cannot adequately furnish the necessary procedures and facilities set forth by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention for the testing and quarantining of hundreds of undocumented non-citizens who may be infected with unknown variants of COVID-19 or other infectious diseases that residents have not been vaccinated for. Whereas the county judge of Jim Wells County, Texas, has determined that extraordinary measures must be taken to ensure the protection of health, safety, and welfare of the county residents. Now therefore be it proclaimed by the county judge of Jim Wells County, Texas, that a local state of disaster is hereby declared for Jim Wells County, Texas, pursuant to section 418.108A of the Texas Government Code, pursuant to section 418.108B of the Texas Government Code, that the state of disaster shall continue for a period of not more than 7 days from the date of the declaration, unless renewed by the county judge or continued by the Commissioner's Court of Jim Wells County, Texas. Number 3, pursuant to section 418.108C of the Texas Government Code, this declaration of local state of disaster shall be given prompt and general publicity and shall be filed promptly with the county clerk of Jim Wells County. Pursuant to section 418.108D of the Texas Government Code, the declaration of local state of disaster activates the Jim Wells County Emergency Management Plan. That is the declaration.
Make a motion to adopt the resolution.
I second the motion.
Okay, have a motion on the floor and a second. Commissioners, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And all those opposed? Okay, motion passes. All right. Okay, let's see. Agenda item number 12, consider take action to select a consultant from applications received in response to RFQ number 2021-004 for services to administer and coordinate funds received through the 2021 American Rescue Act. All right. Do we have any? Do we have any submissions?
These four or what?
That's it. One's it.
Is it what it is? American Rescue Plan.
Got 'em all
Are they in here?
Yeah, the folder.
on the second folder.
Oh,
I believe they were due by yesterday.
It's proposal for consultants.
Okay, commissioners. We don't have anybody that came in person to speak, right? We're just going over their submissions of their offers.
Is there anybody up there, Judge?
Commissioners.
I hope
This
we
is
have everybody
James
that-
Clark. I'm here representing IEM.
Okay, Mr. Clark, good morning.
Morning.
How are you this morning?
Doing well. A bit of a cold, so I apologize if you can hear that in my voice.
That seems to be going around here lately a couple of times, so we've been, hope you feel better. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
It is a lot to digest, but go ahead with your presentation, sir, and we'll do the best you can this morning. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
All right. Well, we did not have a whole lot of notice, but I'm happy to let you know a little bit about our company and what we're able to do for your county. We have been in business about 35 years. We primarily help folks with large federal grants, emergency management, and disaster recovery. We spent a lot of time and energy with the American, with ARA years ago. We're helping folks with CARES Act funding, COVID-19, FEMA funding. For your county specifically, what we have presented as part of our methodology is that we would come in, we would help you to reconcile all of your COVID-19 costs to date, determine the appropriate funding source for all of that cost. Then we would recognize how much available American Rescue Plan funding you have, work with you to prioritize that funding across a number of eligible uses, whether it be infrastructure or helping folks with remote learning for their children, et cetera, put a plan together for execution of that intended purpose, and then actually administer the grants following all of the rules for the appropriate document retention so that you would have audit ready files and would not have any issues with any clawbacks of any of that federal funding down the road. So I'm happy to get into more detail, but I want to be respectful of your time. So let me know if I can answer any other questions.
Commissioners, do we have any questions for, let's see here.
I'm also quite curious about your intended use or your goals for that funding. It would help me quite a bit to, detail how you might be able to use it.
And we're in the process of doing that with a little more direction that we may need some clarification on some of the areas that we may want to address. And so we'll be working on that also, and it's difficult without any kind of direction. And this is why we're at this point right now. We have an idea of what needs to be addressed and what we need to look at, but we do need to get, and I'm not sure, and that falls on, I'm sure you guys are a little more familiar with it, but we will go over, and we have to also consider a few others that have submitted. So this is a lot to take in at one time for the Commissioners Court to review and the submissions and the details. So, but if we do have any other questions, can we get back to you, sir? I know that you've been in contact with Ms. Reynolds, my administrative assistant, and you will follow
Absolutely,
up.
Judge. So we have been helping cities across the country. We're working with Bloomberg Philanthropies to answer questions that any local governments have about how they may use this funding. We've also been helping some local jurisdictions with community outreach to get feedback from the public on how they would like to prioritize that funding. So I bring that up just for your consideration.
Thank you very much for that presentation, and we will be in contact. What I'm going to suggest here, after we review, the commissioner have a chance to look at these submissions, I may suggest that we table this item so we can consider and review with a
Yes,
little
we
more.
have some urgency, but I'm pleasantly surprised that we got 4 submissions.
You know, it's
And if you all want to do it yourselves, you can do that and come back on the 12th.
Yeah, I think we're
Or
gonna have
if
to
you
do
want
this.
to, I don't know if you want to delegate to a subcommittee like we did on the phones. That might be another option.
To create a committee for this particular,
to interview them more in depth, answer the questions they have, give them any data that they need.
I think we could do that.
And but like we did on the phones, it would probably be best just to have one member of the court and maybe two others.
Right.
Or four others if you want.
One member, one commissioner's court. Of course, I'll obviously step up to chair it, and then we'll have at least one commissioner on there that
Well,
maybe.
okay, be careful because, you know, we gotta be careful because of the quorum.
Is there anybody else doing a presentation?
Do we have anybody else that we have? Mr. Glenn?
Good morning. This is Steve Glenn from DCMC. Again, we don't have a formal presentation, but I just wanted to introduce myself and let you know that we did submit a proposal, and we are interested in assisting the county as they move through the ARPA process and start looking at building some resiliency for the future of the county. We've got a great team. Y'all haven't even had a chance to look at the proposals. I definitely understand that. We definitely will stand ready to come back and present if required and needed in more detail. But I think we've put together a pretty good team. We've got a great history, much like IEM, of dealing with county municipal governments across the country and administrating federal and state grants of all types, including HUD, Treasury, as well as FEMA. We also have an auditing firm, Guidepost, who partner with us to help manage that money and make sure that all your stuff's audit ready so that we can make it in one simple package for you. So I won't take up much of your time. I know you'll have to review all this, but we certainly stand ready to help you all out and partner together. And if I can answer your questions, let me know. Thanks.
Thank you, sir, very much for your submission, and we'll be in touch, okay?
Anybody else?
Anybody else on that would like to make a presentation or that we have on? No? Okay. Well, back to what we were discussing. Yeah, we got to be careful as far as the quorum goes, yeah, on a committee.
But do we really need to go into a committee? I mean, we should have announced that at the beginning, no, that we were gonna do that, don't you feel?
Well, I mean,
Well, we did say that we would, well, we didn't know how many.
right, submissions were
many
going to be,
people were
so
gonna
right now is the
submit.
time to consider all that. We're not in no rush right now.
Okay.
We want to do it right.
No, we are.
We are in a rush, but we're not, we still have a little
We could
time.
We could do one, you know, till July 12th is not that long.
That's what I meant, that we still want to do this right, and we don't want to just jump in and
Could we let the judge appoint an interview committee?
Sure.
That would be
Of four
my
people?
recommendation.
Yeah.
if we can authorize that, then we can do that. We can do 4 or 5. I mean, we'll put somebody together.
You're gonna chair it, and then maybe one other member of the court, but not two. Because
That's what I meant, that just one other member of the court, whoever wants to submit or suggest, I mean, it's going to be a committee, and we're going to have, we're still going to bring that to the full commissioner's court.
And then maybe interview them, set a day to interview them by Zoom after they get whatever data they need.
Okay.
Because one, I believe the first gentleman said that he's.
We still have to provide some detail, and until then, until we come together as commissioners court to look at and address what area we need to concentrate on.
I make a motion that the judge would appoint a.
I'll second.
Interview committee.
I have a motion on the floor and a second for now. I don't know if we need to do that at this time to authorize them
By email memo or.
by email or memo. Okay, but in the meantime, do we have any other submissions or anybody else that wants to do a presentation? If not, at this time, because I think we had made that clear, and it was a lot of.
Do we have somebody, Robert?
I know we had these submissions and there was no planned presentation on it because it's quite a bit of, and they still require additional information that we need to provide them details as to where we want to address and what we want to look at. So that's.
I would love to introduce our firm also, if I could, for just a moment.
You, and your name is, ma'am, please?
I'm Michelle Ersty. I'm with iParametrics.
Hey,
And like the other gentlemen have said, we've been doing disaster recovery for a long time. We've been in business for almost 2 decades, helping clients across the country. We've been heavily involved with clients throughout the COVID-19 pandemic recovery over the last 15 months, and have been helping clients recently here with all of the American Rescue Plan Act recovery that they need throughout. We've been very busy in Kansas, across Rhode Island, across parts of Georgia. And we have a local Texas-based project manager who'd be helping you as well. So we'd love the opportunity to present in a few weeks and introduce her to your team, and so that we can help you to recover effectively in a holistic way that takes into account all of the recovery options there are so many funding options out there right now to make sure that the county gets the most and best and highest use of the funds that are out there. So
Yes, ma'am. Well, thank you very much.
thank you. I appreciate the opportunity.
Your submission, and we will be in contact. And once we review all, and if we have any questions, we'll be in contact with you and reach out, okay?
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great morning.
You too.
Anyone else? Okay. And we will continue to follow up on that. And once we convene the committee, and then we'll have a recommendation for the Commissioners Court here by the next meeting. No, we haven't voted yet,
So
but
it'd be a motion to table and allow you
to create this committee. Okay, so I move that we table this agenda item till the next Commissioners Court meeting.
Second.
The second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And all those opposed? Okay, motion passes. And so the authorization to create the committee, we can,
you can just choose some members and then send an email notifying everybody, and then figure out what data they still need. And then I would recommend setting maybe an afternoon where you can block off maybe 30 minutes to an hour for each presenter.
sounds good. Then that's what we'll do. We'll
Which
make that
that was-
invitation.
Which that is supposed to have been another committee that we were gonna create
There's still gonna be a
to
committee.
what we were gonna do with the money.
Right.
You know, remember we had said that at the very beginning.
Have they already named the members? No? Okay.
We have one person that has agreed. We just need to look at a few others that need to step up and agree. And of course, outside of the Commissioners Court, we need people that, and we'll take some suggestions, recommendations. I think I have a few people that just haven't committed yet. We have one person that has already committed, but I still need a few others. And they have to have a better idea of to what exactly they're gonna do, because to get an idea, general idea.
What do we
Because
need?
we gotta lay out, we have to, as a Commissioners Court, lay out some of the projects and some of the areas that we need to address. So we could have that for the committee to consider and to look at that, because otherwise it's kind of blind, like they asked me specifically where it and what. So we don't have too much information yet, what we need to address. That's why we need to come in and have some submissions and look at each one of our precincts to see if there's an area that needs to be addressed with with this particular Rescue Act here. But it's quite a bit. And then once we get that information, then we can get some assistance and help from these administrators.
See what qualifies.
Yeah, what qualifies and what doesn't, because we have a lot of
Because like
ideas.
with expansion of the jail qualify?
You see, that's still up in the air, expansion of facilities to secure folks like that. That may fall into different areas, especially with this
For right
declaration.
now, we just tabled it. you know,
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
we can
I know.
roll on.
I know, yeah. So I'm just wanting to clarify that. It's still up in the air. It's a lot of information. Not only this,
Judge,
yes.
I just wanted to suggest if you do have any specific questions about eligible use, such as the inspection of the jail, if you'd like to share those questions, we'd be happy to put together a response and let you know what you can and can't do about any of the specific uses, regardless of your selection process.
Appreciate that. No, thank you very much for that offer. Appreciate it.
I mean, I'm just saying, being that it was COVID money and you need to keep them separated, I'm sure that,
Well, there's COVID money, and then there's FEMA money from the freeze, and now there's the American Rescue Act. So we've got different sources, and they all have different rules.
And that's what makes it complicated, difficult, hard, however you want to put it. And we don't want to make any wrong moves and have to backtrack and backpedal without.
We're trying to make a decision as we're trying to understand it, you know,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
that's why we're tabling it.
And we're not the only ones, okay? So it's pretty much like that. There's questions all across with the other Commissioners Court that I've spoken to, and they have to get better ideas and better direction. And that's why this particular act and these funds make available for us to hire and work with administrators that have background and experience with this. So that's the point. Okay. Thank you, Commissioner. So we'll do that, and then we'll put together and convene that committee before next Commissioners Court to kind of get an idea and to review these submissions for the administrator part of it. Any other questions, guys? It's a lot to take in. It's a lot to consider. I know Michael's been on, and Michael gets bombarded with all the legal and questions and then the middle guy and all that, but hey, he's done a great job. So it's a great team effort here, and I'm sure that we'll do our part once we decide where we're gonna be at. Any other comments, Commissioners?
It's all good.
Okay. Yeah, it's good. We just don't want to mess up all this opportunities with all these monies and make the wrong moves. That's all. We're fortunate and blessed to have even considering, and that's, in addition to that, there's more coming. So we'll have to be very cautious and careful. Okay, commissioners, let's see, let's move on to, and thanks for the presentations, everybody. Did we, I think we tabled the agenda, I don't know. We tabled it?
Mhm.
I don't know.
No?
We made a motion to table.
I made a move and then Commissioner Garcia. Okay, let's vote on it then. I guess we didn't, we skipped over that. So
Vote on it
all
again.
in favor of
Tabling.
tabling this item?
All right.
Aye.
Aye, and all those opposed? Okay, motion passes. Thank you, Nora, for that. Okay, agenda item number 13, consider to take action regarding Jim Wells County telework policy adopted on March 20th, 2020. All right. Commissioners? Do we have any comments or suggestions? Anybody? As far as the teleworking
You know,
goes?
we need to kind of start thinking of a date
Mm-hmm.
where we can all come back. For right now, maybe coordinate something with the courts, what time, when they're coming back, and, you know, maybe I would suggest, you know, I don't really have a date in mind, but, you know, I think we need to start thinking about when to come back.
The last time you said you were gonna meet with the department heads, did you meet with them?
No, I've spoken to, in general, to different department heads. They all have different circumstances, situations. I know that our office is working and moving forward. I know most offices are already operating at full force. The only question is here at the courthouse. I did speak to the courts, and I know that Michael's a little more familiar with that. We haven't had any much direction from the Supreme Court or the governor's orders regarding courts and jury pools and all that, because that affects everything, you know. But as far as working within the office, and our constraints and the limited office space, or however it is that each department has, that's the only thing that's my concern. And as far as different options as to how each office is taking that into consideration as far as safety goes, I don't know. As far as the services, like I said, services have not been compromised or have not stopped yet. So it's just about the individuals.
Everybody's getting, you know, I think service has been great. I heard the district court's coming back
Late August.
in August
The
1st.
last week of August.
So we might start,
How about, I know there were suggestions around the state
Really,
September
the
1.
courts, we cannot, the commissioners court cannot tell the courts when to start. They're under a different, they're under.
Right.
Other jurisdiction, other
Supreme
authority.
Court,
Right.
has been issuing orders on them.
Right.
This is more for
The
all the other
offices.
offices in the courthouse and in the annexes.
And I'm not sure, like I said, as commissioners here, how each department handles their administration of their own offices and how they handle their personnel.
Right. Well, what the telework policy did was delegate that to the department heads to run each office as they saw fit during the pandemic.
Right.
So, if you were to rescind it, then we go back to what we had pre-pandemic.
Right.
And then the auditor's office would be, confirming timesheets and so forth to make sure that.
Now, the question is, if each department head has their own policy within that allows for individuals to
The
telework.
Commissioners Court allowed that in this March 20th order.
Correct.
So once you rescind this order, then they have no discretion anymore. And we're back to what we had beforehand, which is our personnel policy that says you've got to work a minimum number of hours if you're full-time, a minimum number of hours if you're part-time.
Does that include teleworking? Does that also include that or no?
No,
That's gonna be
If
rescinded.
you rescind this, that's it. Yeah, that's
I think
done.
it's time for all of us to come back to work. I'm gonna make a motion to rescind the policy.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a
Before we go further, but don't they have to provide a plan of how
The
they're gonna?
courts do. The courts,
okay, the courts do.
has
Not our
their own
departments.
direction.
Not the department heads.
No.
Yeah,
That-
I mean,
we're
not
just saying
the other
departments
departments.
in the courthouse.
Yes.
Yeah, well, like I said, I didn't, we need to, like I said, and I concur with your motion and your second here, so if that
The only
wants
thing
to be
is
done.
to set an effective date. And I heard the sheriff say July 6th.
Yeah.
For his department. Remember, we have a long weekend.
We can go with July 6th.
Next week. Is there any problem with pay periods or?
No, Oh, that would be.
July 6th would be ideal date then.
You guys, like I said, whatever it is that the department heads and whatever the commissioners court wants to do, we'll go with.
Let me
Like I
look at the
said.
calendar, Judge.
So we want to
Maybe,
set a time right now, a specific date.
Maybe the July 19th, July 12th.
Or July 6th is when we come back from
From the long
holiday,
weekend.
the 4th of July weekend.
Yep.
So that'd be ideal, July 6th.
July 6th.
Okay, then July 6th it is. That's where we have a consensus here and we're good.
I think
Let's just
once again,
vote.
we gotta do it. Did they vote?
No, not yet.
No, we haven't voted yet.
And vote
I'm just- we're
individually.
You made the motion,
We make
consider it.
You
and
seconded?
vote individually so that
and
way
they seconded. We're
I
taking a
make a
vote.
motion and we
Okay, I have a
second it.
motion and a second on the
We just
floor,
need
but
to
we still
put a
had
date
discussion
on it.
right now. We were discussing.
On your.
July the 6th.
July
July
6th,
the
okay.
6th.
That's why it's open to discussion. Once I have the motion on the floor.
Yes, sir.
I'll open it up for discussion. So are we on for July 6th? Is everybody
Yes, sir.
in agreement? Okay, July 6th it is. So I have a motion and a second on the floor. All those in favor say aye.
All right.
Aye.
And all those opposed?
Judge,
Motion
will
passes.
your office send out a memo to everybody
We'll send out a memo, yes.
in case somebody's not aware of it?
Okay,
so that
we'll
way
send out a
every-
memo for July 6th.
Yeah, just send it out as soon as possible and just so everybody knows and has time to tell their employees when they should be back.
Got it?
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Noe, for that. Yeah, I appreciate that, Noe, so we could follow up and comply with our back to normal,
Yes. Yes, so
Reporting and
everybody's
our
on
auditors. Yeah, I
Thank you.
got you. All right, good. All right, we got that clear. Agenda item number 14, consider and take action to authorize County Judge Juan Rodriguez Jr. to execute all necessary documents for the purchase of 28.73 acre tract of land to be funded through the GLO grant number 18396-000B105 Rancho Alegre Drainage Improvements Project.
And this is the 28.73 acres, the Mosier tract to build the retention.
Yeah,
pond
the
on
retention pond.
Johnson
Yeah.
Street.
That's part of the program and the grant, so.
I make a motion.
It'll be paid through the grant.
Yeah.
The property is already being researched by Guarantee Title. Once they clear title to it, then it would be up to you to sign all the documents, but the funds would come from the grant.
For the grant, yeah, yeah. And we have those funds available and there'll be more, so, okay. Do we have a motion on the floor?
I made a motion.
A motion? Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a second here. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And all those opposed? Motion passes. Right. That'll be a huge help there for those folks.
Just curious, what was, how much are you paying per acre?
85.
I don't remember, it was
Is it
85 per
eight?
acre.
If you break it down, what's the total amount? What was the total?
244,205?
We
Wait,
it
It's,
started at 10 and we renegotiated a couple of times and we made an offer. I think it's 8, that we would pay 85 for 16 acres or 8 for the 28 acres. So we got the 8.
Per
The
acre,
full-
right?
right.
Okay, I'm just curious, you know.
It's a lot of money, but we need it.
it's expensive. I wouldn't have recommended paying for it out of. if
Our
the
regular
county
general
had to pay
fund.
for
Right.
it, but
I
we
wouldn't
got-
have paid
we
that out of
got
my
the
pocket.
approval from the grant administrator.
And actually, we had more money. They put a big chunk.
yeah, and we start looking at all the, and that's a good question, Commissioner, because it does, I don't know how that,
That's for the detention.
how that,
Retention pond.
what
Retention pond.
impact it has on our, because I know there's always an impact when it comes to our local property rates and as far as comps
Well,
and
this is gonna help
comparables.
with the flooding in the industrial
Mitigation.
district that is from the auction house all the way down to.
Behind my office.
Yeah, and south.
Yep.
All that area that floods, those big yards that flood,
The
all
water's
that
gonna
water
go
will be
that
able
way.
to drain into that retention pond.
And it's definitely gonna improve conditions out there. I mean, it does, and this is what it requires, and there's a grant. Fortunately, we have funding for it, and we're able to do that. It's not coming out of our local taxpayer dollars.
Even the property, we're gonna clean it up
Yeah.
because it's an eyesore.
So it's gonna be very helpful. Yeah. Okay, guys, so we passed the motion, right, and everything? We did everything?
I was just curious.
Question?
Did we vote?
Yeah, we did. We
Okay.
voted. Okay, so we got that approved. Thank you, Commissioners. Agenda item number 15, consider and take action to select provider for Jimos County telephone system upgrade. Okay, we have considered and heard all the presentations, and the committee has recommended and we have met on several occasions. At this time, what the committee has recommended is that we maintain the current hardware telephone systems that we have in place, and to, for the time being, for now, until we get a better, clear indication as to some of this funding that we're getting, that we may be able to utilize to improve and upgrade and completely overhaul our system. That means the telephone wiring and all the hardware that's around that needs to be addressed. But in the meantime, without incurring additional costs at this time, at this point in time, before we get a better idea of what we can do with those funds for the American Rescue Act and some other funding resources. That's the recommendation from the committee, that we maintain what we have and improve and upgrade and use a lot of those other, what we currently have. We have not completely, totally used all the specific utilization of the current system we have without having to purchase and go out to purchase and revamp everything else that would cost into the hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's what's been the recommendation of the committee, that we maintain what we have right now and upgrade and tweak whatever we have to do to address the immediate issues that we have in each department and throughout. That means and including relocating the current, I guess, the system over from the sheriff's annex to the sheriff's
To the jail.
jail
To the jail.
facility
To the jail.
that would back up with that generator and the electrical, the electric provider that we have there and the generator that would help. So that's what the recommendation is from the committee, and I concur with that. So do you have any questions, commissioners, for anybody here at this time right now?
Yeah. I'll go with a recommendation. Make a motion to accept the.
Do we have any
Second.
questions regarding
Yeah,
specifics?
just to clarify.
To
it-
clarify.
It's basically a motion to table this. The three things that the judge said was we're gonna, the current provider is J&H. They're gonna come in, and apparently, you know, we own the phone system, we own the phones. And they have functions that they're capable of doing that we've never utilized.
Or requested, yeah.
Yeah, so they're gonna come in and give us a wish list, okay, three-way calling, call forwarding, all the basic things that, you know, conference calling, upgrade all those. And then, once they do that, have a workshop for the employees. We've got a lot of people that got hired that never got trained on how to fully utilize our phone system.
I agree with you, Mike. So that system was installed when I was here with Judge Science, and we did have that, and there was available. But like you said, a lot of people have come in and gone, and it's changed, and not people are aware of it, but it's
So-
just like a communication.
So improving the functionality of the phones, that's one thing. Direct lines for each office in the courthouse rather than the menu.
Yes.
Because a lot of people are not patient enough to wait to hear, and they'll just hit one or two, which directs calls to
A lot of the
only
calls.
to JC or to my office, because we're near the top of the list.
I'd like
We
to
have
say
to
something
transfer
about
them?
that real quick. I'd like to say something. I know that these functions that are available with this current system that we have, and the provider and the ones that had trained initially, and Commissioner Gonzalez referred to the fact that this system has been in place for some time now. And some of these functions, before there were direct lines to each department, and I think within this one system, the functions were changed to where this
The menu.
a menu item, which hasn't worked out very well. And this is what initiated this whole conversation about going back. And that's when I asked Robert to revert back, because it was creating a lot of confusion and a lot of calls that were going back to frustration. So that was done sometime right before we came in, but we want to address that. And they're still capable, and it's still possible to go back to where we're at and address those other areas of concern for now, without having to expend so much money before we know how much we have available and what we can utilize those funds for. But that'll come up soon once we have clarification regarding, so we can address the other areas of concern which create a lot of interference and all kinds of other problems. But like you mentioned, not only are we addressing the functionality of it, we're going to relocate that, but there's also something else that we
Yeah.
are gonna
okay,
be
so-
able to do.
So increasing the functionality, which will cost us nothing because we already own the phones.
Right.
Moving the control system from the sheriff's office to the jail so that we have the generator there in case of a power loss.
Right.
That should cost,
Minimal.
It may cost something, but it'll be minimal, probably less than $2,000.
It's a lot better than hundreds.
Moving forward with the AT&T contract that y'all approved in May, that will increase our speed, both here at the courthouse and at the sheriff's department in both locations. That contract has already been approved, but it hasn't gone into place yet because we were waiting on this. And then finally, the workshop to train our employees on how to use all the bells and whistles that our phone system has that we are not using right now. We received 2 strong proposals, and this is on the other part that the judge. So those are the immediate things. So it would probably be a motion to table with these items in mind to be done like in the next 30 to 45 days.
Right.
On the as far as the long term, we received 2 strong proposals, one from Barcom and one from J&H, both of which have about a $75,000 capital outlay requirement, one-time cost. So our thinking is, if we table for now, put that off 4 to 6 months, and then whenever we get our consultant in, we can see if, rather than paying for those one-time capital outlays with our money, use some money from the grants, because broadband improvement is one of the areas that we can get funding for.
Right.
So if we just wait a little while, rather than us pay that $75,000 to upgrade the cabling, we can get government money to pay that. And also the other issue is, if you've ever seen downstairs in the basement how the wires are run, it's pretty much been a piecemeal as you go process. There is another project that could be done that would clean that up and put them in different type of conduit or baskets, and that would be a much larger ticket item than the $75,000. Once again, we may qualify for grant money to do that. That would be a 6-figure project. That would be, I guess, you could call it phase 2.
Mm-hmm.
Phase 3, we also talked about a possibility of putting our own line on the poles between the offices that are here, which would be juvenile probation, adult probation, sheriff's department, courthouse, the bank where Ms. Lozano's at. And then we even talked about.
And that's called a loop, correct? The loop.
Right.
That would loop us all in together, yeah.
That we would have to put fiber optics and just
Right,
loop.
we would rent the poles from AEP and run our own lines. And they even discussed possibly getting into partnership with the city for the library, the police department, city hall, and looping them into the system as well at a shared cost.
Right.
But that's like that would be like phase 3, a wish list way down the road.
And that may come available sooner than we think, maybe 4 to 6 months, a timeline.
Once again, if there's money available
Right.
through this.
Also, now that you mentioned the city also entered into some agreement or voted to expand their broadband with a company. So if we wait a little longer, we'll know where to tie in and how that's going to work out, because that's also in the making right now, and improvements and to the infrastructure around here. So it gives a little time to consider other options, and more importantly, the cost, that if we have those funds, that we can use those funds from those grants, then we better use that, and we're better off doing that. But
I want to
everything
rescind
you mentioned.
my motion and table.
Okay, rescind your motion, so you're going to motion to table the item, okay? Do I have a motion? I have a motion on the floor,
I'll second it.
and we have a second.
And I just want to thank all the department heads that came to the meetings and provided their input. Judge Leon came, we had representatives from the DA's office, from the auditor's office, everybody came in to.
I would like to also echo that, everybody that met with the committee, we met yesterday one more time to gonna overview this. And again, Michael, thank you for coordinating that, and everybody that appeared. Judge De Leon was on there too, yes. But before we move on, after we did all that, I know I have a motion on the second on the floor to table this item, but we're in discussion, so I'd like you to go ahead and make a comment, sir.
Just the.
Yeah, sure, go right ahead. Go right ahead, allow you a chance to review.
Just on the current phone system, it is going to be end of life at the end of this year. So the support of it.
Yes.
So you do have some time.
A little bit of time, right?
Right, but that's the one important part, right? Because you do own it,
Yes.
but the support of it is going to be end of life.
Ending
So
in
there's
that
no
contract.
there's no more, you can't upgrade anymore. You can't do any changes to it.
Right.
That's the one part that was missing out of that. So I know you mentioned you want to improve the functionalities, use the functionalities, but at the end of that system, it's not gonna be supported anymore, right? So there is some time.
A little bit of time.
Yes,
But-
sir.
But I want to thank you also for your
Absolutely,
help
sir.
and
No,
your-
absolutely.
all your
More than welcome. Yes, sir.
expertise and everything. And we'll be in contact because
Yes,
like I
sir.
said, this is a moving and
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes, sir.
a work in progress that we're working.
got it.
But thank you for all your help and your guidance
Yes,
and your
sir. Thank
assistance.
you.
And we'll be in contact so that way we can
got
keep
it.
up with everything we got. Okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I have a motion on the floor and a second to table this agenda item. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And all those opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. We'll be in touch. Thank you. Mhm. Agenda item number 16, consider, discuss, and take action on a request from Jim Mills County Emergency Services District Number 1 for matching funds for a Texas Forest Service grant for the purchase of a fire truck and equipment. Okay. I don't know, I know we had some calls this morning from some of the members of the Sandia Emergency Services District, and I attended a meeting and they requested, I've yet to do that. I was gonna look at that to put that on the budget. Yes.
I know that we go in rotation. Who is?
They're up now. Because we did Fremont, Ben Bolt, and I think Orange Grove is up now.
Well, this is Sandia.
I mean, I'm Sandia.
Sandia. Yeah.
So,
There's some
this is a-
factors in there
well,
that,
this is if it's their time, well, then the money should be there
Right.
for this match. But once again, this isn't the type of item that, because they wrecked due to the freeze, I think.
we are eligible, and that's why I don't want to go get ahead of ourselves. And that's why I didn't want to do that, because we can include this and we still have budget coming up, but also we may be eligible and qualify in this particular area from those funds, American Rescue, and then other additional funds that may come in. So
This
somehow or another, we're able to,
I think this accident that caused the damage happened
Yeah, it says right
during
here.
and because of.
because of the freeze.
So that we may be able to get some funds there, and then rather than spend the tax dollars that we normally would
Right.
this year on them, we may be able to redirect that among, maybe split it among the other three and double up.
Actually,
Buy
there's the
equipment or
letter that was sent to the judge, it's here, and it says that it was a total on an icy road due to a response.
Yeah.
Right.
During that time, there was freeze, yeah. And they reported that to our office immediately, and of
Now,
course.
that would be a FEMA,
Funding.
So I don't know if the deadline has passed. I know the deadline for individual claims has passed.
But
back
as
in May.
entities,
I don't know.
and that's something that we have to look at carefully. But as far as the need that they have out there, Commissioner, would you like to, I know that they reached out to her. Commissioner, I was at the meeting, their last meeting in Sandia about 3 weeks ago, and their needs are there. And they do also contribute a lot to the rest of the county, when it comes to the fleet that we've added. Commissioner, you're familiar with, overall, I've spoken to fire chiefs and firefighters across and emergency responders that, and they all concur that each additional unit or anything as far as equipment that goes that's added within our county, it adds to our fleet and it helps because we always work as a unit. And so I think it is something that they really stress and they really highlight it. And it's necessary. So now the only question is where the funding is going to come from.
I was just gonna ask a question. How much is the matching fund?
175,000.
175,000?
The only thing would be, Mike, is like, for instance, the one that we purchased for Fremont 2 years ago and then Ben Bolt's last year,
Mhm.
is that we purchased it, I think, we approved it like at this time, and the truck wasn't ready. If they have to build it, it won't be ready till about January.
Yeah.
So
let's get a
that's something,
timetable.
unless it's already ready and they're gonna,
Yeah,
They're
let's
purchasing
find out when
somebody,
it's
so-
gonna be available, but this would certainly be one of the first tasks for whoever you selected your consultant.
Right.
To see if we can get the matching funds.
I agree.
From the FEMA money.
From those grant monies, yeah.
And then the money that would have been directed to Sandia for this year can be redirected to the other volunteer units.
Right.
We rotate between the four.
right, yeah.
Yeah, we
We
rotate.
do rotate. No, the only difference is now is that we have different special circumstances. I'm considering that also, considering the freeze and the emergency.
Usually it's Orange Grove.
I don't think we've ever done Sandia, right?
No.
No.
No,
It's
and that's something
usually,
that they,
Bembo, Palito Blanco.
No,
Ben Bolt and
Fremont.
Fremont.
I think,
and Orange Grove.
Sandia was done right before Ben Bolt. The year before I came in, they had just gotten,
either way, it comes around
It
to,
rotates.
but go ahead, Noe.
And we still gotta wait, we still got Alice on there, right? They rotate. We
I think Alan's gonna be requesting also some funding. So that, it took, back of my mind.
It might be the following year though.
Sure. But right now, just I'm trying to address the immediate needs right now. Like they did have that
Yep.
accident, which others haven't had, and we'll have to consider if something, God
that's
forbid,
fine.
everything else.
And that's what I'm
As long as
saying,
you all-
Judge, that it's, unless the piece of equipment you're gonna buy is already ready,
Ready.
then you might wanna have to go here.
Mhm.
Because we won't be able to wait long enough for that
And
money to
maybe
be
if that's the
available.
case, if it's ready and
It's-
it's only, the window's gonna close on us, then we put the money and then maybe ask for reimbursement.
Right.
Judge, can y'all hear me? Fire Chief Barajas?
What do we have? Oh, Chief, you're on there.
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, I just
I
got
know
on
that-
right now.
And I know that we spoke to some of your members this morning that weren't able to make it, but I'm glad you're here. Chief, go ahead.
Yes.
Robert.
Hi, good morning, commissioners and Judge. I just came on behalf of our president, Abraham Aguilar. He has been rushed to the hospital this morning due to a high fever. I know y'all talking about the matching funds, 175,000. For more information, the truck that we have already had ordered, we did got 3 bids. I believe y'all got the final bid there in front of y'all from Deep South fire trucks. We did get a grant approval from the Texas Forest Service. The ESD district went ahead, approved on one of the bids to order the truck. So the truck is ordered. Hopefully within November of this year, the truck will be in service in Sandia department. The only reason the ESD went ahead and ordered the truck is because we are lacking one major truck. That one truck that we did played a big role in our community of especially on like structure fire. If everybody knows, there up here in Sandia, north of the county, we don't have hydrants, and we are depending on water supply. So that's the reason one of the reasons why our ESD district went ahead and approved the bid. So the fire truck is on order and hopefully be delivered by November.
So what's our deadline to make a decision or to send them our match?
November.
See, I didn't get a clear
November would
indication.
be a
Chief,
deadline.
was there I know that y'all, during your last meeting, this is what y'all presented and we consider it, but as far as a timeline, I know y'all, there's a small window and I know this is coming up where your first installment or your first payment of that agreement, when is that coming up?
That right now, we're definitely we're gonna be financing this truck. Our plans are we're gonna finance a truck to one of our finance companies. I'm not for sure who we're gonna use. That'll be our treasurer. Brian will be taking care of that. They'll pay off the truck for us. I will do the paperwork, submit that to the Texas Forest Service. They will pay us they'll pay us $175,000. And when we receive that money, we're going to put that money towards the first payment of the fire truck. And then I believe the next payment probably I can't give you an exact answer on that. I'll be lying to you. But I could find out for y'all.
But your request was 175,000, correct? To match?
Yeah, yes. The truck itself, I believe, I don't got the paperwork in front of me. I'm in my work truck right now. I believe the total amount was $254,000 on it. So the matching fund from y'all or for the grant, it'll be help pay off the truck completely, and plus additional equipment that was lost on that fire truck. Of course, we lost our jaws of lives. A lot of nozzles that was damaged, that was lost. Yes, the insurance that we did file did pay some of it off, but the prices they estimated doesn't match what the prices are now. Because every year on a special equipment like jaws of life, it goes up every year. I just got a quote just today from Matt. Just a one cutter and one spreader bar for jaws, it's $26,000. So it adds up at the end of the day.
So in other words, the 175,000 matching is to include all the equipment and everything else, not just the truck.
Yes, not just the truck. It'll be the truck, the equipment, also
Okay,
We're,
but wouldn't it be where the truck would be paid off when you get the truck delivered? With a
the
finance?
truck will, yes, it will be paid off with the finance, correct.
Okay, so in addition to that, I know that y'all weren't able to have Mr. Aguilar, and hope he send our best to him that he gets better. But
Oh, well.
down as far as the additional equipment that y'all mentioned that is necessary out there, which is this includes Jaws of Life uniforms, all sorts of other things that the firefighters need to have at their disposal immediately.
Correct.
And I know
Yes.
that we can go over that.
So it's 175, and 175 is 350, the truck is 254, so 96,000 is gonna be for equipment.
Jaws of Life and all sorts of other. This stuff is high end
Okay.
stuff you put on that has a 10-year use that they have to use. Yes.
I just want to say something. I'm all for safety for the people of Jimbo's County and everything. My deal is I just deal with numbers.
Sure.
And that's one of the main things. I just want to let you all know, we budgeted 150,000 for fire protection for the year. We have a balance amount of 132,585 at this point. To do this, we'd have to transfer some money from somewhere else because we don't have the complete amount in fire protection.
That
And I'm
fund.
just giving you all that as
Okay.
information
Thank you.
for you all.
So how much is in the account?
132,000.
132? Okay.
Because we budgeted 150 and we spent 17 so far under fire protection.
Is there any outstanding liabilities?
Nothing else, nothing else. But I just want to let you all know, like I say, I'm all for safety and everything. Just want to let you know about the money.
You're right. No, we do have to consider, right? We all want to eat, but how much you can, how much do you have in the right in our hand? We have to limit our expenditures, but Commissioner, anything?
But it's
The
very
thing-
doable, I think.
And this additional funding that we made, like I said, it's a lot of moving parts right now. So this may qualify and fall under that particular FEMA or American
Have to
Rescue
be
Act.
careful that, it may be, oh yeah, we could have given it to you, but since you already paid it up front, we can't reimburse you. You know what I mean?
No, and I want to take that into consideration because that's a possibility. It's like,
The thing is, we've got a window till November, and then, we can.
so.
I mean, it's gonna happen, it's just a matter of where the funding's gonna.
Right, so how about this particular item, I know we have it on the agenda to consider right now, but if we need a little bit more time to tweak and to look at how we can submit or reach out to FEMA and see where we're at, if we qualify, we're still eligible, and other funding, and Noe already gave us an idea of where we're at for this year as far as what we budgeted. There's a difference there of 43,000, I think you said, Commissioner.
And just to clarify, judges, that it will happen.
Yeah.
It's just a matter, like Mr. Guerrero said, where's the funding gonna
Right,
come from?
and
Whether
how we manage and how we,
This would be a perfect, this is a perfect example of something that the freeze, monies should be able to cover, because it happened because they were responding
the
to
freeze.
somebody, during the.
does that make sense, Commissioner? So I move that we table the agenda item for now until we get additional information, until we took all that.
Second,
But it is gonna happen, so that's what we wanna make sure, one way or another, we'll figure it out how we're gonna
it's
do
gonna
that.
work
Does she
out,
have
but we
to
just need to.
rescind
table it.
her motion so he can
Okay,
table?
I have to rescind, you had made a motion already? No,
Somebody had made a motion.
I don't think so. Maybe it was in the previous. So I just moved that
No,
we
oh, no.
table this agenda item, we have a second. And we already have discussion, so all those in favor say aye to,
Aye.
Aye.
and all those
All I
opposed?
want to say is,
Motion
I know they already ordered the truck and just that, like y'all said, we will find a way to get them the money. We will work with them. We just need to find out where we can do it, where we can pay from. But it will be done and it is needed in the area.
Thank you, Noe, yeah. And Commissioner, you can relay that and we'll relay that.
Okay.
Chief, did you get
Thank you.
that?
Yeah, I did get that, all the information. Thank you for your time and your service. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you for your help, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Have a wonderful day.
You too.
Before we go to the next item, I forgot to mention during the public that we had a meeting yesterday with the city
Yes,
in reference to the sandbags
yes.
that we're going to be coordinating sand. They have a machine that we used a couple of last month, I believe.
Mhm.
And so they usually do it here on 3rd Street, and it's a big mess,
Recycling center, yeah.
but the traffic and everything. So they've asked us if we would coordinate with them, and they would lend us the machine to do the sand.
Yeah.
And so
That's great.
we're going to be doing that. And I know Wicho mentioned that we could use over there on Precinct 4,
TxDOT,
TxDOT, yeah, the old.
the old TxDOT.
And possibly the fairgrounds also to distribute sand
That's a great.
whenever the
It-
storm
it-
comes.
it's a win-win situation for everybody, Judge, for, because like since Margie's on that side, I cover the south side over here, but we cover Fremont. We had like over 400 bags over there, and then we have Bembold covered. We have 1,000 bags over here, but it's just so hard to spread them out to what area. And it's with this way, we
Either
tie
way,
in, we tie in with Alice. And
either
everybody
way,
gets involved,
however, I'm
and
very-
everybody, it doesn't matter where it goes in Alice, it's taken care of.
Like I said,
between the
either
city and
way,
the county.
I'm pleased, we're pleased that, we're coordinating with the city, and Commissioner Gonzalez and Commissioner Gonzalez are coordinating very well. I spoke to the city
I
manager
know
yesterday.
they also talked to Mr. Garcia, and it's,
And Renee, have they sent you an email also?
Yeah, I talked to him about, I guess it was about a month ago. I was there. They said they had the machine and wanted to take it
And
together.
so yesterday I even ordered 5,000 sandbags because at that bulk we would only pay 3 cents and not $1 like we were paying.
And I'd like to commend you all for doing all the commissioners court, because we'll be ready for any additional emergency that comes up or any flooding. Also, I'd like to make an announcement that Commissioner Garcia also has provided his vehicle we're doing the mosquito, the vector control for the mosquitoes. And I know everybody has
They started
participated
yesterday.
in that.
You know, I think one of the options on the sandbags was to give them before the event.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
Before it happens, like, issue
But-
out sandbags to the residents before.
We could put
it's
out,
not too far ahead though. They were trying to go a little bit too far, and I said, all right,
Yeah, but
you wanna
at
have
some
the-
point it works
the-
better, to
Well, we're
storm in
gonna
the water.
start. We've already started making sandbags, but we will not distribute them until at least we hear of a storm. Because yes, like Wicho says, then they'll just put them aside and then
deteriorate there.
you sure, you can't get them wet and stuff like that. You have to really take care of them.
we'll make sure that we put that out on our website,
On the
that we'll
website.
have available, and we'll make that announcement as well as what you just did today. We'll make sure that we coordinate and make sure we have a location that we store and that we have that machine and sand and the bags. That way, once we figure out those locations. But again, Commissioner Garcia, thank you for the supplying the vehicle for the vector control, and then we're making the rounds as much as we can.
which they started yesterday.
Yeah,
right?
and we
Yesterday
received all
afternoon.
the chemical.
The chemical was delivered to me.
Anything else, Commissioner?
No, I'm fine.
Anybody else? No?
That's it.
So that was good discussion. I guess we cut it in between 17 and 18. That's all right. We don't always remember initially that same thing here too.
Beginning, yeah.
Go ahead.
All righty,
17.
good. 17, consider and take action to approve a new subdivision plat for the ranch at San Diego Creek.
Judge, I spoke to JC this morning. We still haven't received the updated plat.
Plat, okay.
I did speak to Mr. Isaias, the gentleman that came with Mr. Dean last time.
Yes,
And he did advise me that they have completed the 30-year water study. So they have an engineering report that verifies that there's an ample water supply for the subdivision.
Right.
I think there's a few other things.
items that they
The
need.
soil testing so that the OSSF is feasible in that area, which I'm sure will be. They just need the actual verification of the soil type. So just pending a few more things, so.
We'll table this agenda item then. You said that we
Yes,
table this
yes.
agenda. I move that
Yeah,
we,
for
I move that we
I'll second.
table this agenda item. We have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And all those opposed? Motion passes. 18, consider approving county treasurer report and other monthly reports.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second on the floor. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And all those opposed? Motion passes. Agenda item number 19, consider approving county auditor's report.
Commissioners Court, the first thing I'm gonna talk about is for May of this year, the sales tax for the net period was $294.94. Net payment was $249,935.37, a difference of $20,159.57, or a percent change of 8%. And I just want to note, this is the first time this year where we have collected more money in sales tax than we did the previous year. So there is a trend going up.
Good deal.
We still have a deficit compared to last year of 131,433.54, or minus 11.08. But I do see where it's getting better. Hopefully it'll keep going that way. On the monthly report for the auditor for May of 2021, revenue collections for the general fund are at 85%, road and bridges 81. Overall, all revenues, we have collected 81% of a total of budgeted of 25,567,135.37. All of the different departments are listed. The percentage expenditures should not be over 42. If it is over 42, we can get together or we can identify what the problem is. Like I say, everybody's listed. General revenue, expenditures up through May were at 39%. R&B was 39%. And it turned out with everybody, we had a total expenditure of 37% of our budget. Like I say, the percentage is 42, so we had 5% to the positive on our expenditure. So I want to thank everybody for looking out for the expenditure. That is it.
Thank you, Noe.
Thank you.
Thank you, Noe, for
you.
that breakdown. Anybody else, any questions, discussion?
I'll make a motion to approve item.
Okay, I have a motion on the floor.
Second the
Need a
motion.
second. All those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed, motion passes. Agenda item number 20, consider approving payroll and bills submitted by county auditor with the exemption of Fund 52, 53, and 54.
I make a motion to approve.
I have a motion on the floor.
I'll second.
I'll second.
And the second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And all those opposed? Motion passes. I move that we adjourn this meeting.
A second.
We have a second. All those in favor say aye to adjourn the meeting. Aye,
Aye.
nobody's opposed.